Alright boys, what's up? This is HuckGang Sam. Today I am starting the HuckGang YouTube channel. This is just gonna be a little bit of fun shit. This is Pico. This is my my daily right here. 2005 Forester XT 5-speed. Got a bunch of mods which I'll go over in its own video. This is a little project car. Salvage title 04 Baja Turbo. So this thing's pretty fun. It's a pickup truck by Subaru. Then over here we got the topic of this video. This is the ambulance. So I picked this thing up recently. Gonna use it as like a tow rig, also for just, you know, like converting to an RV, stuff like that. So we're just gonna go over what I got done to this thing so far and a couple improvements I plan to make. So one of the first major pros to choosing an ambulance as an RV / tow rig is all the storage that you get. Like it's ridiculous. You can fit so much stuff in this thing. I got my jack stands here. And it's all so sturdy. Like they've got these beefy springs here on the hinges, and you know, you got lights inside the cabinet when the power's on, so like that'll turn on. And you know, obviously for the RV side of things, it's already got a bunch of hookups. Like it's got this shore power hookup for 20 amp, so that's pretty sweet. Got a table in here. This is where the oxygen tank used to go. So yeah, this is lit as well. It's got a little pass through to the inside. And we'll go around to the other side. Of course, there's plenty of stuff inside too, but I'll show you that in a minute. So back here, we got a ladder for getting on the top. We got American flag. You always need one of those. Some camping chairs, and that's also got a pass through to the inside. Again, it's got lights and everything. Down here, we got the water cooler, just for, you know, when you're out hucking with the boys and you need a little drink. Of course, it's a dually. It's got these thick chrome popcorn bowls. Put some new tires on it recently. Fun part about it, I just replaced all 3 of these. It's got 3 batteries. So these are 1045 cranking amps, 850 cold cranking. They're pretty huge batteries, so you know, it's got 3 because it's got to run all the electronics and stuff. And then in here you got another storage compartment. This is one of the gurney holders that comes out from a bolt. This has got plenty of pass through. It's got like 2 cabinets that you can use from the inside. So yeah, about the truck, 2007 Ford E450 Super Duty. It's got the 6.0. So yeah, it's got it had 220k on it when I bought it. I've put about like 800 miles on it, just getting it down. I got it up on the border between Mass and New Hampshire, up in Lawrence, and I drove it all the way down here to Shoreline, Connecticut. So yeah, thing's a brick. Basically like driving a U-Haul. So a cool thing about this ambulance is that it was a Star of Life ambulance, which means that it has to have a bunch of federal certifications. So it has to meet a bunch of standards. So whenever you see an ambulance with like the like cross on it with like the snake or whatever, it means that it's a Star of Life certified ambulance. So it means it's one of the good ones. So you can read the spec sheet, which I'll put in the description, on like a bunch of the different requirements that it needs. But for example, one of them right here is that it has to have this like splash guard. This is federally mandated for this to be a Star of Life certified ambulance. It has to have this little splash guard right here, and so that if you spill diesel out, it doesn't discolor the paint job. So that's one of the things. Another one, this step on the back has to be able to support 500 pounds minimum, so it's pretty beefy. Never really had any questions about how sturdy it is. It's like welded to the frame. It's pretty nice. So let's move inside. So in here you got the control room. So, you know, we got these thick tow mirrors on here. They're power too, so that's pretty nice. It's got cruise control for ultimate comfort while you're cruising down the highway. See the odometer right there. So here's the main switch panel. Got my OBD2 reader, for, you know, checking like ECT and stuff. So this is like the main control panel. The lights and sirens do still work. This radio is kind of shot. The display's off on it. It doesn't really like work. It's got plenty of DC outlets up here. It's got like a security system for the backup camera. So usually, you know, they'll set up like a backup camera system, but on this, it has like literally like it says zone defense. It's actually like a security system, so it's got a bunch of different channels. So I plan on putting on some extra cameras and stuff around the outside. And then, you know, it's got a bunch of hookups. So there used to be like a radio hookup here. This is where it would sit. Plenty of stuff in the back, which we'll get to in a second. It's got power locks, of course, but they also work on the rear. So let's go back there. Just moving into the back. Handle requires a little bit of finesse sometimes. The doors lock on these things right here, so super like stable and good. There you go. It's kind of a big step right now, just because the front's down like in the dirt over there. But so inside, haven't really done too much. You know, I put a hammock up. It's really just knotted to these bars in the ceiling, which can support plenty of people, which we found out accidentally when we were just chilling, and a bunch of people that we used to know showed up and started hanging on them. So they held the weight, so we put a hammock on it. So, you know, back here we got all this like super sturdy storage and everything. So here's one of the pass-throughs. It's got lots of outlets. Let me actually turn on the lights. So here it is on the inside with the lights on. When the truck's actually off, you can use this little like egg timer, and you can turn on the lights with that. So it's got these four like, I don't think they're fluorescent because they light up pretty quick, but you can turn them all on and off individually. But yeah, so it's got tons of storage here. You know, we got all this shit in it. It has rear AC and heat. It's got this little safe here where they used to keep the you know, the drugs and shit. So in here, this is where the electrical is. So this is kind of crazy. There's a lot of stuff in here which I need to figure out because I want to make some mods. But yeah, so that's gonna be fun. You can see in the cabin, it's got these displays here, so it tells you how many amps you're using. So like if I turn on the rear floodlights, that goes up. You know, it's got these, it's got the dome lights as well, which are those ones right there. So that's what that does. That one's out, so I need to get new bulbs for that. It's got these comfy chairs with these armrests on them. Super nice for cruising because it's got cruise control and everything. We got the door for the front and back. That was me hitting the horn. So you can lock out people that are in the back. It's got a little hole right here so you can lock it shut so it doesn't bother you while you're driving. Of course, it's got one up here too. My extension cords in there. You know, it's got a little window. So going back here, so this thing actually seats 7, 2 up front, and then it's got 3 seat belts right over here. It's got another one right there, and this chair that's like a captain's chair, it swivels around. It's got another seat belt right there. So this is like a little pantry where you can keep stuff. So we got you know, blue gold right there, shop towels. Everybody loves this one. So this is the pass-through to that oxygen compartment where the table is. So back here, yeah, you can see I already took off one of the covers for this because I was gonna put LEDs in. And then you got these side doors. This one's locked. So that's pretty nice. It's got like a screen window on it, so you can get some fresh air. And then it's got these floodlights, which are super good at night. And you can turn them off with this switch on the door. So all the storage in here, at least the big cabinets, they're pretty cool because what you can do is if you have something that maybe it's kind of difficult to fit in with like this right here, you can utilize all of the cabinet space by holding these little handles up. And then the whole cabinet flips up like that. So you can just throw stuff in there. As you can see, new starter, I already put that in. I was having an issue where it was doing a slow crank, no start. It was like firing and everything, but I couldn't get up to the right riptons to start. So that actually turned out to be an alternator belt. One of the alternator pulleys like seized on me because this thing's got 2 alternators, so it does like 220 amps when it's at 1500 RPM. So it's got like a high idle switch for that. I got that alternator unseized. Well, not really. I just, held the starter for like 30 seconds and it cranked up and it just burned that belt right off. I'll put a clip of that in here. So, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of the stuff back here. Here's the AC and heat stuff. You gotta have like the ignition on, so that's another thing that I wanted to do a mod for. Make it so that, that I could have this stuff stay on. Maybe put on one of these aux switches because I don't think they do anything right now. Make it so that I could have that on while the truck's been off. So like I think 5 minutes. I haven't done the actual time, but when you take the key out, it'll stay on for like 5 minutes, so it'll run like all the electronics and everything with the key out. And from that, it'll beep at you if you have any compartments open. So you can see right here, it's got this diagram of the truck with all the cabinets and everything, and if one of them's open, it beeps at you and lights one of those up red. So that'll let you know if you have anything open, and it's very annoying. So like if I'm just trying to chill with the back doors open because I'm facing like the docks or something, I want that to shut up, so I'll probably just like disconnect that wire or something. I don't know yet. So fun thing about the shore power, couple facts here. So it's got a NEMA 1520, I think is the spec on it, where it's got like a flat blade connector on the secondary. So you can see it's kind of weird. So you need like a special plug for that, but a lot of campgrounds have them. So that's why I get this like 50-foot cord. I had to like wire up an outlet in the house, but when you plug that in, it runs the inverters on the truck, so you can hear the inverter click when you plug it in. So that little light comes on to let you know, and the inverter's right in here, so you can hear that humming. So that runs all the inverters, and you can tell those are on because the plugs glow orange. So yeah, but that only runs the inverters and the block heater. So the inverters, if nothing's plugged in, it's not a big deal, but the block heater constantly is just like warming the block and the coolant. So that'll kind of cost you a lot of power. So that's another thing that I want to do is set up that so I can toggle the block heater. There's a mysterious switch inside called the summer switch, which is in the electrics compartment. So you can see in here, we got this, we got all the wiring in here. And then we got this summer switch, which I don't know what exactly it does. I thought it might toggle the block heater, but apparently not. Then we got the GFCI breaker, so I have no clue what this does. I thought it toggled the block heater, but it doesn't. So I don't know what it does. So yeah, gotta figure out how I'm gonna put a block heater switch in here. So that'd be great. So as you can see, it says auto eject there on the plug. So when you actually start cranking it, this will just shoot right out and you can just floor it and get out of there. but that's not really a great idea unless it's fully warmed up, so it's not what we're gonna do right now, but we'll do a quick little start. So as it is diesel, you got the injector buzz test. You gotta wait for the glow plugs to shut off. Just gonna give it a minute to finish the buzz test. So the reason I pulled the parking brake there is because if you don't, it'll go into high idle mode, so that'll kick it up to 1500 RPM. So that's where it's rated to run all the equipment, like all the lights and everything, doing like 200 amps or something. So yeah, that's where it's rated. So I'll turn on the EM here. We'll turn on some lights. So yep, all the lights still work on it. So there's two modes. One of them is clear the right of way, and the other one is vehicle stopped on shoulder. I think that this is clear the right of way, not sure. So that's primary. Let's see what secondary is. Yeah, secondary is vehicle stopped on shoulder. So like, or if you're on the road. So this is like when you're on a scene. And then you can toggle the front beacon separately, which is this. And then, oh, turn off the wrong switch. There we go. So the through window thing, that's these side marker lights, I'm pretty sure. That's all I've seen them do so far. But then we got the sirens here too, so I'm gonna put it in mono because it's a little bit less loud. So yeah, not gonna get too loud because my neighbors will go pissed. And Pico. So yeah, it's got a bunch of different modes here, so that's making all the different siren sounds. It's got PA system, which I'm about to test in a minute. So yeah, you can toggle the horn and siren, then wig-wag that flashes the headlights back and forth, and then you got underbody lights. This thing got underglow, bro. So yeah, it's got those are kind of nice for nighttime. And then it's got a backup beeper, and then you know you got the scene lights. So these are just these floodlights, which are super good at night. So here's some stats on the truck. So here's the main important stuff. Yeah, Thickum, not doing too great. It runs real smooth, but I know that's supposed to be 48 volts. HPOP is good though. IPR is fine. You know, it runs fine. So it's good. But yeah, Thickum, I took the board out and it looked pretty fine. Probably need a new power supply for it, even though none of the capacitors were blown or anything. But yeah, that's like supposed to be 48 volts. So highway cruising, this thing's nice. Like I said, it's got the cruise control, super comfortable, especially with these seats. So yeah, taking a quick look under the hood here. Not much to see. I mean, it's just a generic 6L. It's hidden by the van body. You got this tiny little hood space to work with. Probably like a foot and a half maybe here. Maybe 2 feet, something like that. But yeah, you can see down here, this alternator belt, that's the one that snapped off because that thing was seized. But it's got another alternator right there, and that one's mint. AC works and everything, so there's a tensioner. Maybe the tensioner seized. I don't know. But that's something that I'm gonna have to figure out. So yeah, just, you know, pretty standard 6.0. Don't think it's been bulletproofed. So the story behind this, Sam's holes. There's 2 giant holes right where the wheels are, actually, in the driveway, because I went out on vacation and this thing was up on jack stands because I was doing the rear brakes on it so it could pass federal inspection, and it was super hot out, and the jack stands actually like sank into the pavement, and the ambulance just like fell off slowly, I think. I don't really know because I wasn't there, but it fell onto the brake calipers and like the sway bar, and it just sat there. But they're fine, I guess, because everything works all right. So yeah, that was fun. So you know, little joke there, putting Sam's holes, pointing to them. So we got the temps up a little bit, so let's put it in a high idle. Just wait. So yeah, the high idle is like really high. I wish it was more like 1200, because then I could just kick it on, but like 1500 seems like it might be a little stressful on the engine, but like when it's cold at least. So you'll hear the VGT spool up in a second probably. Here it comes. And then to release it, to turn the high idle off, you just pull this. Takes the parking brake off. Once she's warm, the fickum's happy. Yeah, I mean, that's about it for this thing. So post some more updates when I do some more mods on it. See you guys later.